So I remember during the Bush administration, there were so many little moments where as a child, you have this realization of like, holy shit, we're being led by total idiots. And, you know, I mean, there's like compilations of Bushism moments where he was like, fool me once, shame on you. You fool me, can't get fooled again. Like he would mess up these sayings. He would have these like total word salads and they wouldn't understand some basic shit about government. And I remember thinking like, holy shit, it's just an illusion that the people who have the most power are the most responsible or the most intelligent or the best leaders. It's just not true. Well, now what we're seeing is with the Trump administration, it's somehow getting even worse. So Kristi Noem is the head of DHS. She's doing this committee hearing and getting grilled. And look, in a world that made sense, she would be forced to resign after her appearance here. So let's start with this. Watch this.
I wanted to just go back to something that was raised earlier about habeas corpus. Can you confirm to us that you understand that any suspension of habeas corpus requires an act of Congress?
President Lincoln executed habeas corpus in the past with...
President Lincoln executed habeas corpus. That's a weird way of saying it.
Retroactive action by Congress. I believe that any president that was able to do that in the past, it should be afforded to our current day president. This president has never said he's going to do this. He's never communicated to me or his administration that they're going to consider suspending habeas corpus. But I do think the Constitution allows them the right to consider it.
When we saw what happened with, how many times has habeas corpus been suspended in our country?
Once that I know of.
4 times.
For certain. I'm not certain if those were...
The instance that you were referring to was one where the courts subsequently showed that Congress is the one that has the ability. Do you know what section of the Constitution the suspension clause of habeas corpus is in?
I do not. Nope.
Do you know which article it is in?
No, I do not, sir.
Okay, well, it is in Article 1. Do you know which branch of government Article 1 outlines the tasks and the responsibilities for?
Yes.
Which one?
Congress.
Yes.
Oh, boy. Oh, my God. All right, we're not done yet. I like Ryan Grimm's commentary on this next clip that you're about to see. He just says, oh, God, watch, and you'll see exactly what he's talking about.
So, Secretary Noem, what is habeas corpus?
Well, habeas corpus is a constitutional right that the president has to be able to remove people from this country and suspend their right to...
Let me stop you, ma'am.
Bro, you're the head of the Department of Homeland Security and don't know what habeas corpus is? I'm literally at a loss. That's like being in your social studies class and not knowing who the U.S. fought the Revolutionary War against. Now, maybe you don't know what it is, but that's okay. You're not the head of the Department of Homeland Security. But basically, to sum up habeas corpus, it's basically like your right to see a judge, right? That if the government detains you, you have a right to see a judge. That's it.
So, Secretary Noem, what is habeas corpus?
Well, habeas corpus is a constitutional right that the president has to be able to remove people from this country and suspend their right to...
Let me stop you, ma'am. Habeas corpus...
She's got to go. She has to resign.
Excuse me, that's incorrect.
President Lincoln used it.
Excuse me. Habeas corpus is the legal principle that requires that the government provide a public reason for detaining and imprisoning people. If not for that protection, the government could simply arrest people, including American citizens, and hold them indefinitely for no reason. Habeas corpus is the foundational right that separates free societies like America from police states like North Korea. As a senator from the Live Free or Die state, this matters a lot to me and my constituents and to all Americans. So, Secretary Noem, do you support the core protection that habeas corpus provides, that the government must provide a public reason in order to detain and imprison someone?
Yeah, I support habeas corpus. I also recognize that the President of the United States has the authority under the Constitution to decide if it should be suspended or not.
It has never
Let us be clear, though,
it has never been done. It has never been done without approval of Congress. Even Abraham Lincoln got retroactive approval from Congress.
You don't know what habeas corpus is, and you're the head of the Department of Homeland Security? And by the way, just so everybody understands, if you take away habeas corpus for undocumented immigrants or undocumented immigrants who are also violent criminals, that means it's been taken away for everybody. Because the whole point is, how can you prove you're a citizen? How can you prove you're not a violent criminal if you don't get your day in court? You can't. So they are asserting the right for Trump to disappear whoever the fuck he wants to disappear for whatever reason he wants to disappear them. And you all know at least 288 people have been sent to a concentration camp in El Salvador. No hearing, no due process, no habeas corpus. And we learned anywhere between 75% and 90% of them don't even have a criminal record. When he originally said, we're only going to send the worst of the worst, the undocumented immigrant violent criminals, that was a lie. It was a lie through and through. And here's the head of the DHS, doesn't even know what habeas corpus is. And talks about it like, what? Well, I mean, it's been suspended in the past once. And then they're like, actually, it was 4 times. I mean, 4 times. And we were talking about literal wars, bro. And as Congress is saying, that has to go through Congress. The president can't just decide on his, like, oh, I'm just going to get rid of your ability to go in front of a judge if we detain you. Like, to put this in the simplest terms possible, Kristi Noem and Donald Trump are outright arguing with a straight face. We have the right to turn this country into a fascist dictatorship and a tyranny, and we can do it whenever we want for whatever reason we want. That's the argument that she's making. The head of DHS doesn't know what habeas corpus is. And you know what drives me crazy, bro? You know what drives me crazy? So, like, I saw this. There was some chatter about this on Twitter. Obviously, Ryan Grimm tweeted about it. Aaron Rupar originally posted it. He posts a lot of clips that really are incredibly illuminating. But, like, in years past, it feels like there was a time where this clip would lead to her having to step down, would lead to her having to make some sort of public apology, would lead to some sort of consequences. And now we're lost in a sea of controversy and scandals. And so I don't even know if this one, it was brought up on the nightly news or on the 24-hour cable news networks. And it's like, we're out here trying to do some heavy lifting, trying to put the spotlight where it belongs to let everybody know what the real scandals are. And it feels like we're pissing in the wind here. Because it feels like no matter how outrageous the moment is, no matter how insane it is, no matter how deep the lack of knowledge goes, it's just everything just keeps chugging along. Oh, this country is so cooked, bro. This country is so cooked. We've never been more cooked. I mean, we are off the charts cooked. We are cooked, barbecued, deep fried, grilled, boiled, broiled, every fucking word you could think. The head of the DHS doesn't know what habeas corpus is. Fuck me. Fuck me with a spiky metal bat. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.